Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be doing a little bit more LL games just to practice for Skirmish. So I made a couple changes to the list since last time. What I'm trying today is Harmony the Hunt over Spinning Wheel Kick. Harmony the Hunt's just a pretty solid enabler card. So being a 1 for 3 that basically generates you another tiger, so kind of gets double pumped by effects like Ardor and Shuko or in Stubbies, for instance. Also in the sideboard, we're trying out Race Face. I've moved 2 of the CNCs into the main deck just to kind of pad out the deck a little bit because it's kind of hard to find a room for a lot of these combo cards with the equipment suite. So 2 CNCs are main deck. Against Starvo, we kind of board those out for Sync Belows. And then not much else kind of changes the deck. Again, I still think we're sticking with the blue bonds. I kind of like this little 2-in-1 package. I haven't tried going up on Descendants, but I haven't really found that to be incredibly necessary. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the main changes. Oh yeah, 2 Erase Face. So what I found in my testing is that Viscera is actually a very, very scary deck. It's probably, if not the best deck, it's probably the second best deck in the format. So I'm gonna try out these Erase Faces to see if they're actually impactful at all against Viscera. They may be, they may not be, but I do want to try them out just to see if it helps give you any percentage. It's also just a decent popper into Prism. And then I think that's pretty much the list. So again, no Spinning Wheel Kicks today. I think I also cut out the Biting Breeze as well. I'm not entirely sure for what. It might just be the CNCs. But yeah, no Biting Breeze as well, just for Red Harmony Hunts to see if we like this better. But that's pretty much the deck. And then Harmony Hunt also has these really weird breakpoints and kind of the end game where you can do 3, 2, 1, which is pretty good. So we're gonna give it a try, and I'll see y'all in the games. All right, we got a Living Legend Oscilio. Do we want to go first or second? I feel like we would rather go first. And then do we want any AB? I feel like Needles are probably worth it because they don't block very well to begin with. AB could be good, but we'd have to give up Stubbies or Strides, which I don't love. Could run the Erase Faces as well. Warmonger seems good. How good are the Erase? I guess Erase Faces lose all talent type, so it's pretty good. Bring in another CNC. Maybe we can cut some of these breeds. Maybe seem the most awkward. Maybe a Red Harmony Hunt. Don't feel incredibly strongly about this, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, pretty good starting hands. They could obviously null shock us and counter one of our transfins, but we do have the backup one, which is really, really nice. So let's go ahead and play Harmony and see what we hit. Yeah, I'm trying to probably just send the whole hand if I can. Hit Norihon, which is not ideal. Let's play Homage first on the basis that shuffling is slightly better with Stir the Pot. So we'll get our resource. And then what do we want to do here? We could just send a Race Face, which would prompt blocks, but I think I want to just hold on to a Race Face maybe. So let's go and get... it's a little bit weird here. We don't have the Spinnings, which is also kind of weird. Let's maybe... Sorry, I'm a little bit in the tank here. Let's maybe just get a Malinky and then send it at them, I guess. We could also make a Zen State if we want to, but that seems kind of weird. I feel like I could have played this first turn better, but I'm not entirely sure how. Maybe double transcending is better. Because here we're just giving them kind of free reign. I don't want to play the Erase Face in case they just have the block for it. We don't have a go again, so we're wasting that one resource as well. I feel like maybe getting 100 wins is better, because then we can at least see what they do. Alright, the pitching to Ball Lightning to Volzar. Interesting. Blocking with the Tome of Fyendal. What does that mean? Not sure that I piloted this turn incredibly well, because I think we wanted to probably just force through an Erase Face. Knowing their hand is no blocks, maybe just having a Go-Again source is better. Okay, they do play out a CLV, which is pretty bad, and a Discharge. So their hand was basically all no blocks. So we could have pretty easily just forced through a CLV if we knew that. we'll arsenal the erase face. Find another one, which is pretty good. So, yeah, if we can start their turn with erase face, that's obviously like probably just game winning. So I think the play there was to actually like get 100 wins, see what they do, and then maybe the problem is like the resources. So maybe we don't even like Harmony. Maybe we just double transcend, use Harmony for pitch. It's definitely weird with the needles, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Huh. So they're starting with tomes, which is pretty good. But they don't have action points currently. They did already use one blink. Here's blink number 2. So I guess that kind of makes sense with the tome play. Oh wow, are they just going for it? It's definitely an interesting play line. They might just be going for it. If that's the case, what do we want to do? So I assume they're popping Greaves here, bouncing something. Sure. I don't want to like block with, because we might end up making Zen State, but like I don't know. They're not doing Gone in a Flash, so I don't know if Zen State's even that impactful. I think we're just passing on this. See what they do. I feel like I've definitely played this game wrong starting from turn 0, but I don't think that blocking with Kasai here is actually going to help us all that much. Alright, we'll take the damage to get their CLV trigger, which is pretty good. And I assume they're popping Greaves? No, they're just null shocking. Bouncing their CLV? Sure. So I guess they reset it, replay it out. Sure. Pitching another null shock to Volzar. So this is still like good, but it's only like 6 damage, and you have to use their Blossom, which is pretty good for us. And they pitched another null shock, so that's pretty good. So it probably means they don't have another null shock to use for next turn. All right, here I think we're double transcending. So despite our initial misplays, I think our deck is kind of saving us here. Do we have a good bonds target? We do not yet. So the blue descending gust wave does not really do very much. So let's go ahead and bottom it. I think that's fine. We do want to end on a race face this turn, so we use blue for pitch. Probably get in some needle value too. And then arsenal this erase face at the end. That seems fine. So they don't have access to their Gone in a Flash combo anymore, which I think bodes pretty well for us. We want a 1 cost with Go again, but we don't have one. So let's go ahead and get... Yeah, like 100 wins is just fine. Let's do Needle. I'm assuming this deck does not block incredibly well, just given all the 2 blocks. But let's see what they're going to Oscilio first. Sure. All right. Letting Needles hit probably makes sense. They do still have CLV active. But it's a lot harder for like Oscilio to activate CLV than it is for like Aurora. And then I think we're just going to send the hand, end on a race face, arsenal the other race face. Seems pretty alright. I think we're going to try to just set up for a big Stubby's turn, ideally. are going to block with the Flash of Brilliance, which is kind of interesting. Playing out Sigil Brilliance. So this doesn't necessarily net them a card, because they had to play this out. If they played it out on the end of their turn, it would net them a card, but now they're just card neutral, which is fine. Alright, and we'll finish on the Erase Phase. Erase Phase is also pretty good into Oscilio, I guess. I don't know. Like, Oscilio definitely is like a lot better in LL than I think he is in CC, just because you have access to 6 tomes, which is really, really nuts. But I don't think he's like... I still don't think he's like the best deck because of that, right? Like, I think Kano is still just like pretty high up there in terms of like the wizards, and then like Zen combo is just stupid. Like, I don't know. I don't know how well Oscilio does into some of the like the top decks. He seems like okay. He definitely seems like playable, but I don't know if he's like S tier or anything. All right, looks like they are getting hit with Erase Face. Cashing in 1 value on Greaves seems a little bit interesting, but depends on what their hand is, obviously. So they don't get any Volzar the value this turn. They are not going to be able to also keep CLV around, which is pretty good. Oh, they do get Art of War too. Okay, that makes the deck a lot more real, obviously. Art of War, obviously, like a very, very strong card. So here we have Gone to Flash. They can still pop Greaves if they want to. I guess the question is, are we going to try to make a Zen State in response to this, or do we just not care? They can't Volzar us, so like Mind Warp isn't really real. So what's the block here? We could just set up for a big Stubby's turn. Like, we have the resources to just go like Descendant Bonds into what? Into like Swipe or something. Maybe seems okay. Let's get our chi now and just decide what we do with it on our turn. I would obviously like chase the tail with his hand, but it's not meant to be. It might actually be higher damage. Is chase higher damage than getting Descendant Bonds? It might be. Alright, they will get their draw off the CLB, which is not a big deal. They still have to like pitch a card in the Lightning Greaves because they use their Blossom. So let's see what the pitch is. Channel Thunderstep. Pretty spicy. Alright, so do Secrets. So they are kind of like net up a card, which is pretty cool. I wonder if that makes CNC kind of bad into Oscilio. I feel like it's still like probably worth it because they played out at like the time that they don't necessarily want to. We are pretty safe from Mind Warp though. Alright, staring down a 5-card hand. Not exactly where we want to be, but Volzar is at least turned off. Alright, so current funnel will not get going again because of the Erase Face. So I'm assuming this card's pretty annoying for them right now. If I had to guess. Alright, Gone Flash coming back in. I don't think we need to make a Zen State here. I'm gonna, like, they have at least one attack action in hand. They could have, like, 2 or 3 more instants. Okay, so there's one instant, which is fine. But they still don't have, like, we don't have to worry about, like, a spell at the end of this, basically, right? And current funnel is basically, like, a non-card. So they're basically just doing Gone with Flash damage. So I think I'm fine with this. We're just going to take it all and then set up for a big Stubby's turn. Okay, they do have the Sigil Brilliance, which you know about. So I forgot about this card. That's fine. So get another bounce. And then they have Current Funnel, Gone with Flash in hand, and one other unknown card. but it's probably not a spell. So I think we're fine with this. So we're obviously taking a lot of damage, but we are setting up for a pretty good subby turn, and then it's somersault, which is whatever. Just another bounce. So it'll take us down to 13 effectively. Assuming they replay out the Gauntlet Flash, which I think they should. Or I guess they play out the current funnel, that makes sense. Alright, so take us down to 15. We're going to say no blocks. They can do whatever. We should basically have the kill here, right? And we'll have another erase face, which is kind of nasty. So we'll start with the stubs. And I think... Alright, so they're filtering with Oscilio. It's fine. We'll go ahead... How do we want to start this? Probably want to start with, like, Harmony of the Hunt. Seems fine. Pitch... Minnowism. Maybe we do still get the Descendant Bonds just so we can get, like, a Tiger Swipe or something. Seems like it goes pretty wide. Harmony of the Hunt being, like, a 1 for 5 on Stubby's turn is really, really solid, though. Let's go ahead. We can also make a Zen State at the end of the turn. Like, I don't know if they really have an out here. This will play out a Tiger. I don't think it matters. I think we're just tutoring for Descendant. Then Descendant gets Tiger Swipe. We have the Tiger for that. So I guess we'll go ahead and just do it now. Get the blue Descendant. Comes in for 2. I do think we want to grain this just now, just so we have the extra chi in hand, so we can make a Zen State in a turn. They'll do bonds. Getting our swipe. We have 2 floating for the erase face. They'll do 1/1/5. We might not even need to make a Zen State. We might just make might just do needles. So they basically kind of have to block this. Alright, blocking with Channel Thunderstep and a Tome. Pretty good. Alright, we'll go ahead and give needles here, because I don't think Zen State at the end of our turn is doing really anything. Alright, they're gonna block with bindings, I guess. Sure. I'm assuming they have like 2 no blocks in hand. Which I don't think they're going to be able to cover the other erase face. Alright, here comes Null Shock. Not for 15, though, unfortunately. Sure. Alright, so we got there. Again, it was a 3-turn game. I don't feel like I played incredibly well in the start. So let's see if we can get a better game on the back half. So we definitely want our erases. We want our Warmongers. CNC seems good. And then I think we cut our breeds. Then what else do we cut? Did we cut like 1 Harmony? It seems fine. I still like Belittle in the deck just because it's like, I think it's just a generically good value card, like not even just a nice. I think it's just like generically fine. Could see cutting like 1 Minnowism maybe and like for the Warmongers, but nah. Maybe do like 1 Harmony -1 ends. Sure. Let's try like this and see how it goes. Alright, turn 1 Transcend, obviously very good. They are going first, which I think they want to do. Just so they can like set up Sigil. Seems reasonable. This hand is like pretty optimal in terms of like a starting hand though, assuming we don't get Mind Warped. I'm assuming Oscilio still runs Mind Warp, especially in like LL. Although maybe they don't. I'm not confident on that. Alright, draw. Alright, so starting off on a 5-card hand. Pretty good. Discarding a Sigil connectivity. Getting rid of an Etchings. Sure. Sigil. Sure. Sure. Alright, so I would ideally like this Transcend to resolve, so I'm hoping that they don't have a Null Shock. but it's pretty likely given that, you know, they've dug a lot. I wonder if there's even merit to like not playing it out here, but that seems probably wrong. We could like kind of bait it though. Like we do needle, needle, see what they do, and then like homage at the end. It's kind of tempting. Let's give them at least one needle to see what they do. All right, assuming they're taking the needle. At least the good thing about null shock is that if I can get them to commit it now, their turn is going to be less impactful. Like, it's obviously still good for them to counter this, but I think it's fine for us to just try to force it through here. So we're getting like a 12 damage turn 1, which is really solid, and we're getting an Art of War in Arsenal. So their hand better be really, really good next turn. Which, I mean, it's Oscilio, so their hand can be very, very good. We are still at 41, though, which, again, pretty solid. They did have the null shock, but they didn't choose to go for it. That's very interesting. Maybe they just had like an all-red hand or something. They are on Tunic this time, which is also kind of interesting over the Blossom. The last turn was like a 3-turn game, so I don't know how impactful it's going to be. Huh. Very interesting line from our opponent here. Okay, so we have Sigil Lightning. Our hand is pretty bad. Notably with Tunic, they do not have Greaves available. Which maybe they don't even need it. I guess the question is, this turn, are we going to try to go for it? Do we need to go for it, I guess is the better question. I'm going to say no blocks in this first gun on a flash and see what they do. Because they could just have like a CLV, in which case they're either losing value off the bounce or the CLV. Seduce Secrets is very, very strong. Okay. This is not looking great for us initially. But it looks like they're maybe not popping Greaves yet. I'm halfway tempted to just try to like block out with this hand, but it kind of puts us in like almost like a little bit of a losing pattern. If they have like the Mind Warp. Not sure. Alright. They have a little bit of filtering going on here. So they have 1 Gauntlet Flash in hand, 4 unknown cards. Definitely scary, but at least no Tunic. They will have Tunic next turn, though. Okay, we have a Thunderstep. Interesting. So this is obviously pretty good with tomes. All right, here comes Current Funnel. So they can't give this... Well, they don't need to give this Gogan, right? Because they already have Gogan on this. So I don't... How much value is this realistically getting? Probably not a ton. I'm being a little bit conservative here with blocks because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't want to just get blown out by like a Mind Warp, which maybe they have here. All right, looks like we have an Etchings, which is pretty all right. So they get back Sigil Conductivity, Sigil Lightning. Sure. So now they have Sigil Conductivity, Gauntlet Flash in hand, and then it's pretty bad. I guess the question is now, do we want to try to just go for a Stubby's turn? Because next turn we might not live with CLV, with CTS, I guess that's what it's called. Sigil Lightning up, Gauntlet Flash and Arsenal, and Tunic up. I think now is probably our best shot, knowing that we don't have to play around Mind Warp. I probably should have looked at the deck at the end and see if they were actually playing Mind Warp. Obviously, it's going to feel a little bit bad having to pitch the Harmony Hunt to play Art of War, but I think we just probably have to go for it, right? I think the hand's probably just good enough. All right, so they bounce, which is not surprising, and I assume they're going to tuck in an Arsenal. Oh, sounds good. So Null Shock, what does Null Shock do? So they could theoretically counter Ardor, which is terrifying. I guess we still go for it. If they got it, they got it, right? All right, filtering. Scary. All right, pitching seduce, I guess makes sense. All right, don't null shock me. That seems like just like the best card in the matchup, right? All right, we draw into another Ardor. High skill gaming here. The problem with the second Ardor is that we need some way to make a tiger. Although we could just get like a red Hunter Winds and then we have tigers unbricked, right? So I guess we activate Zen now. Use this for pitch. Banish the tiger, getting a red Hunter Winds just so we have go again, right? I think that's the line. We can't get chased because we don't have to go again. So I think it has to be red Hunter Winds, and then we do the second Ardor. High skilled gaming here. All right, we draw into Transcend, Ascending Gust Wave. So not ideal, but I think this probably still just gets most of the job done. All right, so we'll start with Underwinds, play out all the aspects, probably finish on some Needles. You can even play out the Descending Gust Wave if we really need to. Oh, we can even make Zen State here. So I think we're probably fine, even if they somehow manage to live through this. But each of these tigers are going to be coming in for 3. And then they also have to block beyond hit of the tiger swipe. Or I assume they have to block beyond hit of the tiger swipe, or else they pretty much just die, right? This has to basically get there, right? So 2-turn game, I almost feel like they might be better off on the Blossom Spring. At least at a cursory glance, it seems like they might have lost out on a little bit of value the last turn not having it. Although they didn't... How many instants did they really play? I don't know. Maybe it's close. All right, play out the tiger. All right, I assume that just got there. So they had 2 luck in hand. I didn't get a chance to look at the deck again. Unfortunate. All right, so they're going first again. All right, Sigil Brilliance turn 1's pretty good. Into a blue blast. So they can bounce it here, that's fine. We'll go ahead and just get blocks. We could still filter with the Orihone here if we need to. Which you probably are just going to end up doing anyways. Alright, bouncing our sigils, sure. I do love Blast. Blast is probably the most fun card in Oscilio. Seems really fun in LL too. Alright, they're discarding something. So they have a sigil in hand. Discarding Ardor is interesting. Is Ardor even good in Oscilio? Like, it seems like it's alright, obviously, on, like, the big turn, but, like, I don't know. It's interesting. It feels like it's not... It feels like it might be, like, clunky, especially if they're doing, like, the Channel Thunderstep stuff. If they just pass here, I am incentivized to just Orihone to try to dig towards Transcend. We would lose out on a CNC, but I think that's probably fine. I don't think CNC is all that good against Oscilio, but it does kind of put a little bit of pressure on them. All right, so let's see the Bulzar activation. So we do have a Comet Storm Shock, pitching a Null Shock. And Null Shock just like has to be one of their best cards against me, right? All right, we're gonna filter here. Assume they're activating Bulzar, sure. All right, do find Transcend. We can even just start the game with Transcend, which is pretty good. Which one of these do we want? I feel like we might want Aspect, honestly. All right, so now we've basically like guaranteed our Transcend through Null Shock, which is really good. We start the game with Transcend in hand. I was debating keeping the blue. But this hand's pretty good. I think this is just Chase Aspect Arsenal Ardor. They're on Tunic again, so they're not going to have Zen State up. Or they're not going to have Lightning Greaves turn up. It's also interesting they didn't replay out the Sigil Brilliance here, but maybe they're trying to do just like a big setup turn for later. You can see that being the case. Alright, we'll do our chase aspect. I think we will just send the needles at them, just take them off cards. Because we probably don't need needles where we're going, which I assume is just to deal 30 damage to them next turn. Alright, needle. Alright, they maybe want to block with these, I assume. Alright, so we see equipment block coming at them from them on a needle. That's probably good for us. I still don't think they're really, like, what is their turn if they have, like, a Gone and Flash Lightning Greaves turn? Like, it's not crazy or anything, right? Alright, we'll finish on the Tiger for 3, so we basically got 12 damage out of that turn, which is pretty good. And then we get to have an Art of War in Arsenal, so 3 card 12. Very, very solid. Oh, this hand's the nuts. If we get to keep this hand, I think we just win the game like on the spot. Obviously, Mind Warp could be problematic, but... So, I think here what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to try to play around Mind Warp. And if that's the case, what do I do? I probably just don't block with Traverse, right? Until we know like what the rest of their hand is. So we're going to be able to get to bounce this Blast of Oblivion, which is fine. We could have considered giving like Strides, maybe as like a hedge. I see they play out the CLB. This is before damage, or this is after damage. Interesting. So they replay out the Sigil Brilliance. They get another pump on Volzar. They have three other cards in hand that we don't know about. And then they still have their action point. Okay. Alright. Now there's... Oh, no, they... What are they doing? Oh, this is the start of their turn. Okay, sure. Blast. Coming in. Maybe they thought they were going to get the CLV draw. Alright, so this is before damage. Which is fine. They bounce their Sigil, they get to draw a card. So that makes sense. And then they still have Sigil Brilliance in hand, and then 4 unknown cards. It's definitely terrifying. Okay, we have a Channel Thunderstep as well. And a Tome. Alright, so we've played out a ton of cards. Now what? Alright, drawing like 5 cards? It's pretty good. They're definitely a lot farther in their deck than we are. Which is kind of interesting. So they don't have a Sigil out yet, but they can easily play it, I guess. So they can still like Mind Warp us for a bunch, which is a little bit concerning. Alright, Sigil Brilliance gets replayed out. Sure, so we get another pump. Alright, another Sigil Brilliance. That's pretty bad. Okay, looking like a Mind Warp. Okay, and Etchings. Is that good? What do they get? I guess they get back a Sigil Lightning. It's pretty good. Okay, so what have I learned? I don't know if I learned anything. Because they still could have easily just like Mind Warped us there. I don't know if they're on it though, I guess. So we obviously don't get Traverse value. I think we're still just going to try to go for it though. Like we have 3 pumps in a blue. So I guess we'll start with Harmony, see what we hit. This turn could definitely go badly. especially if they have like null shock or something. All right, we hit stir the pot, which is whatever. Let's go ahead and preserve, putting back. I don't think it really matters. Put back aspect, I guess. All right, they could theoretically counter this. But then their next hand is substantially weaker. All right, we'll gain a resource. Activate Zen. What do we want to get? Do we want to try to bank on getting a red? We could get an aspect here, but that's kind of greedy. I feel like 100 wins is like the safe choice, but I don't know if 100 wins like wins us the game. Probably gets close, right? All right, we'll do Art of War. Definitely feel like their setup here is very, very good. All right, find a CNC. It's kind of interesting. It's Art of War again. Banish 100 wins. Oh, and this hand's like perfect. Okay, well, I guess that solves that problem. Let's just spam out the hand and add on a CNC, and I don't know what they do about that. CNC for 8, I guess. I feel like we kind of got bailed out here. The opponent's setup is terrifying, because like next turn if they untap, I think they just kill us regardless, and we didn't even get to use Traverse and Strides. So this is kind of disgusting. I feel... Well, I guess, are we even pressuring enough damage? So we have 8 here, we have... And there's 7 here. This has to be enough, right? Seven, 3, 8? Yeah, no, there's no way Oscilio could block this, right? I guess if they draw like a million cards somehow, they can, but like, it seems highly unlikely. Alright, I will threaten lethal. It's wild that we were able to do this without even like Strides Traverse. We like actually got bailed out like super hard with these Art of War draws. Alright, they block with the Thunder Step, which I guess makes sense if they have like a redundant one. Alright, we'll send in the 8. I don't... Even if they can block this, I don't know what their turn looks like after blocking this, I guess. Like, I'm imagining this is... Oh, they do dodge, though. Okay, wait, maybe I spoke a little bit too soon. I kind of underestimated Oscilio's ability to draw like 8 cards. Okay, so we do have Seduce Secrets to try to dodge CNC, but they still have to cover 6 of this to live. And then they're stuck with a 4-card hand, which might get close depending on what they have, but like, it has to be a really good 4-card hand. And they also have to have like 2 3-blocks in hand. I guess they use Tunic, right? Sure. They go to 1, but now what does their turn look like without Tunic, I guess? Interesting. I don't know if CNC is good into Oscilio, but even if they have like Seduce Secrets here, like you basically prevent them from playing it on their turn, which I guess is good. So I think we're probably just snap blocking with Traverse Strides, and then if they have a Mind Warp, I don't think we care. I'm gonna look after this game and like actually check and make sure that see if they actually do have a Mind Warp. Like I assume they do. Feels like a really strong card to not be running. All right, we're toning it up. At least it's not from Arsenal. So we're kind of just card neutral at this point. All right, we have Gonna Flash with Gogan. I feel like I've learned my lesson and I'm supposed to just probably snap block this. Although maybe since I've seen Gonna Flash, now I know that they're like actually doing a bunch of attacks, so maybe I hold off a little bit. I don't know. I feel like there are pros and cons. I don't think I die here, like at all. How many sigils do they have? They had 2 sigils out this turn. I'm surprised they didn't pop bindings as well. All right, we have the Thunderstep. Sure. All right, I guess now I'll block because like they have a Mind Warp in hand, but like I think it's whatever. I just want to get my value now, and if they give me a 5-card hand, I think I'm fine with that. They do have Bullzar, so maybe they do have the Warp. Oh, a Null Shock. Okay, I'm fine with this. Sure. Again, this is not lethal. Get an extra 4, but takes me down to 10, and then I get a 6-card hand against them. I mean, like with their setup, it was definitely close, but I basically had to force them to block, and they had to block with like a tome and stuff, which is pretty good for me. All right, I don't really want to belabor this turn, but we might as well just play it out for fun. Let's pitch Descendant here, I guess. Get our free Minnowism value. They could maybe kill us at 10. Like I don't know. You'd have to have like a miracle Oscilio hand to kill at 10 on your opponent's turn on 4 cards. So I doubt they have that there. All right, go ahead and use our Art of War. It should just send lethal, assuming they don't have any like react or anything. Do you have the Null Shock though? Okay. I feel like this is like the power card in this matchup. So I'm glad they got it off here. Oh, did they may want to pump on Bullzar. That's okay. Yeah, you can undo. Alright. So we got Null Shock coming in, Bullzar pump. So that will counter the Art of War. Sure. That's fine. Alright, then we'll send in the Needle. Alright, and they die. I'm gonna call it on Oscilio for now. Okay, so we have a Briar. Again, I have no idea what Briar does. I'm assuming that needles are probably fine into her, and then normal equipment seems fine. Race face, how do we feel about that? Seems like it could be okay. Warmonger's also maybe okay. Kind of looking at this maybe, and then we can board out. What do we want to board out? We board out the Winds. Something like this seems fine. I don't know if we want CNC'd against them. I've never played against Briar, so we're going to find out. Okay, so they do have a pretty good fridge. They have snaps. Okay, very interesting. I guess we're starting on... How are we going to start here? We definitely want to play Warmongers out. So I guess we're arseling Mauling. Pitch like this. I had to block with burn up, that's fine. Send Tiger. And then Warmongers, I guess. Just War. Don't know how much Warmongers actually does against Briar. I guess we're about to find out. Alright, so starting with a Snatch. Do we want to try to block this? What would the block look like? It would probably be Bonds of Ancestry. No, that doesn't work. I don't think we can block this. We have to try to transcend next turn, right? Like, there's no way we can not transcend. Alright, not giving it go again is interesting. Alright, guess we'll start with Belittle. Getting... Oh, we can't play the Minnowism. Ooh, that's a problem. That's not the end of the world, though. I guess we'll just transcend next turn. Okay, my plan was a little bit flawed. I don't know if there was a way we could actually, like, transcend. I think I'm fine to just give a needle here. We probably shouldn't have even tutored for this, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because now I think we actually have to give the other needle in case, if we want to get, this minimalism out of hand. Yeah, this is very aggressive. I don't like this play. All right, we're punting against Briar. That's fine. Let's go ahead and play out the tiger. All right, so we have no needles, but they are on a 3-card hand, which I guess is fine. We do have Transcend, so if we can find an Art of War, maybe the needle usage won't matter here. We at least got tempo. Tempo for whatever that's worth. All right, we do have a Sonata coming in. That's fine. Looks like they whiffed. Or no, they didn't whiff. They got a... and get one of these two. Sure. All right, Swarming for 3. No go again. I'm fine with this. Next turn we have Orihone, but I doubt we want to actually... Oh, they can hit off the embodiment. Okay. Right, that's how Briar works. Sure. I believe you. Okay, so we got 3-4. Sure. I think we're still not blocking, right? Gotta remember what Briar does. Play a non-attack, get an embodiment. Okay, sure. Alright, so we get 2 and 2 split. That's fine. Opponent not keeping an arsenal, I think, is probably good for us. So let's go ahead and start with 100 wins and see what they do. I feel like we want to try to arsenal like Harmony this turn. Let's go ahead and transcend though. Gain a resource. Let that hit. Sure. Okay, do we want to play Orihone? That's a question. I feel like we just do. Just stick for Art of War and stuff. I think it's fine. Alright, we found Art of War and stuff. Okay, we have a wealth of options here. So arsenal Art of War is obviously really good. People have told me that it's a pretty good thing you can do. We have another Stir the Pot. We've not activated Zen. I don't know what the line is here. T can help. Okay. We can't. We need to erase face. I guess we stir. There has to be like a good line here, right? Get a 1 cost, I guess. Play out this and use this for pitch. I feel like I'm fumbling my way into a win somehow. I don't think we need a Zen State on a 4-card Briar hand, I'm assuming. But again, I have like 0 reps into Briar, if that's not showing. Let's go ahead and get... Breed seems fine. And I guess we'll just finish on Erase. I don't know if Erase even does anything to Briar. I guess we'll find out if they just no-block this. I assume it's good for at least the hero power. No. Hero power doesn't even care about Earth or Lightning, right? Yeah. So this might not do anything. Interesting. Yeah, if they take this, I assume this card's probably not great. Yeah, sure. All right, we're learning. We get Chi in the deck. We have Art of War. Oh my god, we're fucking golden if we can live through this next turn, which I assume we can. This is just for 4. I'm gonna go ahead and block 4. At least make it annoying for them to attack. Or to get their Plunder Run trigger. I assume they're gonna like snap this and give it go again. Sure. That's fine. We use their strides and whatever else they do. I don't think there's a hero in this game that can actually live through this hand that we have right here. So I guess we win, and that's good. Tegan is over there, I think, like giggling about me saying that. Tegan, when you watch this hand back, this hand is like absolutely disgusting. Let's go ahead, I guess, and start with Art War. This is probably the grossest Zen hand I think I've seen in a very, very long time. We can go ahead and levels, Sacred Art, activate Zen, get a chase. Do we need to do? I guess we can do this too. Sure, why not? Pitch Tiger seems fine. Draw into another blues, whatever. Oh, we didn't even activate Stubbies. Lamau. Okay, missed 1 damage. That's fine. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I'd say staring at this 7-card hand. Disgusting. Face Purgatory notably also doesn't do a lot. I think they're inviting me in chat to they're asking me why I didn't pop Stubbies, and I said I'm stupid. This is a fucking disgusting hand. Yeah, that was probably the grossest Sen hand I've ever seen. I think they died with us having 6-card in hand, which is wild. Anyways, I think that's probably gonna wrap up the games today. I think those are like pretty high early games, at least. Like I feel like we drew like Art War super early and Transcended super early, which is pretty. I mean, exactly what this deck wants to do, right? Like I think some of those draws that Zen has like are just not beatable by a lot of decks that just have to attack into you. So I think that's pretty good. The raise bases actually came in really clutch against like Oscilio. I don't know if you want them against Briar, but they maybe seem also good in Viscerai. I need to kind of test that out with Tegan later this week. Yeah, but I'm pretty happy with the list so far. The Red Harmony Hunts have also been like pretty solid, just being like a 1 for 5, but also like kind of more split and also giving like Tiger synergy, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but I kind of like this list so far. I'll probably try to think of some more little iterations that we can kind of test, but kind of liking this for now. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.